This week's Moment of Science is sponsored by Charleston County Parks.
Carl Sagan once said, "You have to know the past to understand the present." Unfortunately, Earth's past climate hasn't been written down over millennia in one easy-to-study book. But by utilizing a variety of methods, climatologists can reconstruct what the weather was like hundreds, thousands, even hundreds of thousands of years ago.
There's different data sets that we can use as climatologists. The first data set that we use is direct measurements. You're taking that measure of temperature, precipitation, humidity, winds, sea surface temperature, and that's one set of data that we have. And it's a very young data record when you actually look at it as a whole.
Young in terms of Earth's lifetime, but far exceeding our own. Widespread weather reporting in the U.S. started in the early 1800s, while some informal direct observations are even older. In fact, Charleston is one of the oldest weather recording sites in the nation, thanks to a physician who started taking readings of temperature and rainfall back in 1738. However, our global temperature record exceeds much further than the 18th century, as Mother Nature records the weather herself.
So for the tree ring, as you put it, the amateur dendrochronology, you were able to go and look and kind of line up the really good growth years with the really bad years. So you don't have a direct measurement. That's kind of an example of an indirect measurement. Some of the other examples of those indirect measurement or proxy data would be the amount of oxygen that might be stored in an ice core that would show, warming of the atmosphere, melt, and then refreezing. Another example would be taking a core of sediment from a lake bed or deep ocean. You can look at fossils, corals that were trapped inside of that, and it can give you some ideas of changes that you see in the climate cycle without having that direct measurement.
Using these various climate proxies, paleoclimatologists have been able to reconstruct a fairly consistent and accurate story of Earth's climate over the past few thousand years, converging with the direct instrumental record in the 1800s. There's invaluable data in this temperature record for climatologists to better understand what a future with a warmer climate may look like. It also generates questions such as, hasn't our planet warmed before? That's a discussion for another time. For this week's Moment of Science, I'm Storm Team 2 meteorologist David Dixon.